if you guys have been following me, I have been taking care of my father-in-law who had a stroke actually 2 months ago. So he's been in the hospital having seizure after seizure after seizure after seizure. And not to put too much of our business out there, but this one really hits home because he has not been in my wife's life her whole life. And he recently had dropped the television on his foot. He's been renting a room with some friends, and his foot got really badly infected. And he's illiterate and can't read very well or write, but he wrote a letter to our house. So one day we ended up getting this random letter that we could not read the address on it, and we were like, what is this? And we just tried to decode it. We put it in ChatGPT. We could not figure out what it was saying, but basically he could not get to the hospital. He sent us a letter, and we could read the address. That's about it. So we just went to the address, and he dropped the television on his foot, was infected really bad, hadn't been able to get to the hospital in like 2 weeks. The people he was staying with didn't take him to the hospital for whatever reason, and he thought he was going to die. And so he was just hoping that we got this letter, and by the grace of God, we got the letter, took him to the hospital, started getting him taken care of over those few days, but then he had a stroke, so he went to the hospital. And so for this past couple months, we've been taking care of him and nursing him back to health. And it's been interesting to be able to witness it because, once again, he hasn't been in my wife's life the whole time. And so the siblings is like, we want nothing to do with it. No family wanted to have anything to do with him because he struggled with substance abuse. And so we go from getting this letter to, hey, we're going to take care of you, to, oh, God, this is really, he may pass away because the way these seizures were happening, the nurses weren't cooperative. Doctors gave him all these diagnoses he didn't have. So he's been taking this medicine. He shouldn't be taking it. They didn't want to hear none of it. You know, so we're arguing with a lot of the doctors and saying, hey, why is he taking this? They're not paying attention to him. You know, he's wetting and stuff. So we've been having to go above and beyond. And I've been watching my wife take care of him with a level of care and love and support that's been really phenomenal. And I want to talk, I started to go live and talk about this idea of a cellular, not cellular level, but cellular level, where you truly burn all and you're taking care of a person with everything that you have, and the capacity that God usually takes us through certain scenarios to have the threshold to be able to take care of a person with that level, despite the upbringing. But there's been times where we may not show up until a day later because of life. We still have to work, we still got our kids, we still have all these things. And he'll say something like, I thought you wasn't going to come because I wasn't there for you. And you can feel the grief and the heaviness and the shame that he's carried. And he's been in prison, you know. And I've been like, hey, babe, let me drop everything I got going on to show up for you guys. So I've been in the nursing home with him. Yesterday he celebrated 71. It was his birthday yesterday. So he turned 71. He's been in skilled nursing where he's been trying to get out every single day. Every day you think these people have been trying to get him. So he's like, I got to get out of here. And he's like, I need some beer. For some reason, he doesn't realize, he forgets everything, but he knew that it had been 5 weeks since he had a beer. So they let us get him some non-alcoholic beer to take to him. And he has the most amazing stories of 71 years of life. And so over these weeks, I've been listening to him stories, just like really astonished by how much wealth of knowledge he's been through, even though he's been by himself and had to survive all these years in crazy circumstances. But it's been really fascinating. So this theme, whole no matter what, and what we believe about wholeness, has been really amazing to me because I had to help him change this morning because he had an accident. And he says, I'm embarrassed. And I tell him, I say, man, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. He's like, it's humiliating. I'm like, no, the pride is. But you had a stroke. You had many seizures, and you can walk. We can go outside. You know, he's bragging about playing golf. So I had to remind him, like, dude, this could happen to any one of us. But he's like, but it's happening to me. And I'm like, you survived. He's like, but I wet myself. So what? I was like, but you can walk. But you can talk. I'm like, my mom had this. She lost her memory at 36. You've overcome the odds. And I was like, I'm proud of you. Because some people didn't make it through and you did. And he smiles. And so this morning we was kind of just holding each other for a moment while my wife was out grocery shopping. And I was just mesmerized by this idea, like, God, thank you that we get to share these moments together despite what he's been through, because there's something powerful about redemption. But even so more important, we get to see God in the parts of ourselves that we judge, right? Maybe parents weren't able to show up because of circumstances. Maybe grandmother, grandfather had their fault. Maybe I'm looking at myself like I've done wrong in my life where I've hurt somebody. and still God yet shows up. So when I read this, I was thinking, you know what, you guys, what we believe about wholeness is not the whole picture. Even when we fell short, God still shows up. Even whenever we have a loved one that needs that love, and so maybe it's not a loved one, maybe someone never receives the love of God, we're still given that ability to say, hey, even in your mess, you're still God. You may not see it for yourself, but I see it. And so throughout this weeks, I've been able to see it in his laughter, in his stubbornness, in his they're perverts because they want to see me naked in the shower. No, bro. They're CNAs. They have to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they're pervs. Why do they need to wash me in the shower? And he's like, this woman keeps giving me snacks. She's trying to fight. She's trying to fat me up for the kill. No, they're taking care of you. But the love has been so overjoyed, but he's been stuck in survival so long that someone offered him a snack or love. He feels like there's a hidden motive behind it. You get what I'm saying? So it's been really fascinating to see this part of it, to say, I'm going to get you out of this environment. We're going to get you somewhere safe, and it'll be yours. And you don't have to worry about that. But God has been throughout the whole situation, so it's beautiful. So we're going to take that into prayer. So, God, we thank you. We thank you that in the moments that we often drift and think that it's bad, that we've fallen short, that it's grief, or that it's shame, that there is no redemption, or there's no grace, or that we're unworthy of it. You show up in such an amazing way to show us that you are everything. That in the bad parts of ourselves, goodness exists. That in shame, redemption exists. That in failure, winning, in circumstances that conquer exists. We're grateful that we don't have to live a fragmented existence because you are in the all. As we are drops in the sea, the ocean still abounds infinitely. And we're grateful that through the virtues you possess, we get to explore every aspect of being that lets us know that love and hope and faithfulness exists beyond what this mind can even hold. We're grateful that we have a service where we can have these conversations, that we can love in such a way that allows us to rely on who you are, and that you create opportunities for these amazing memories to materialize, that we can preserve and create breakthrough, that we don't have to carry this alone. I want to send this out as we explore wholeness, that our hearts will be really full, that we be able to hold this and allow this to go out into the world to impact even more the globe and beyond. And we thank you and receive this into law that only knows yes. And we can affirm this any way you see fit, and we'll say, and so it is.
And so it is.